Hello and welcome everybody, I'm Barbarian, and today we're going to take a look at number 58 of the CK3 Dev Diaries, that is stress or stretching the traits. This one is primarily related to everything when it comes to trait expansion, so traits get more options. There will also be more stress options in the upcoming patch, and most importantly there is also something going on about the AI army warfare. But let's talk about something else. Let's talk about something in the present, because remember, this patch will come out, if I remember this correctly, at some point after PDXCon. But what is already live is the open beta feedback. So essentially, there is an open beta patch currently available on Steam. If you right-click properties at CK3 and then you go to betas, you can opt into this beta and you can check it out. You can see that I already made a post here as well. This is also, there's a bunch of posts here made by people that played multiplayer games with me. We tested it and the beta is amazing. The only actual drawback that I was able to find is the fact that the join times are quite long. Sometimes, you know, you're looking at like 7 to 12 minutes, but once you're in, you're in. There's even a post by somebody here that said that there are essentially, they played for 11 hours. They played a session for 11 hours, no desyncs, nothing. We had the same experience. We played with 22 players, something like that. We're gonna do more CK3 multiplayer games as we go. Of course, I'm very excited that it actually is working now, but I would like to ask you, opt into the beta if you want to play multiplayer games. Make sure you play with your friends, your family, your enemies, with anybody, and then make reports. If there is anything that is a bug, if you would like some quality of life changes, make sure to go check that out. Go into the forums and tell Nick and tell all the others what you would like to see, what is working, what isn't working so well. I'm very excited because it is working so much better. In all honesty, with how stable it is, yes, the join times currently are long, but it is a beta, but with how stable the actual gameplay is, we are going to be looking at some massive multiplayer games organized by me. I'm very excited for it, so please do help me. You would be helping me personally and the game, of course. Play with the beta patch, find some bugs, you know, if you can find any. I really wasn't able, I tried so hard, but if you can find any, then tell the devs and we can have a better CK3 multiplayer experience. Now, that being said, this dev diary was written by Medog. Welcome Medog to the team. He is new to the game design team, and this is about stress yet again, but I don't think he was stressed when writing this because this is an interesting dev diary indeed. Let's talk about the trait changes first. Remarkably here, there is shy. It will no longer generate stress when launching a personal scheme. This means, you know, in the past, of course, if I want to plot, then if I want to seduce somebody, you know, my shy character says, but I have anxiety though. How could you make me seduce someone? And that is, of course, something that is very annoying because it doesn't really add anything. It just makes it so that for shy characters, an intrigue-focused lifestyle isn't really valid. You can't really do it without dying to stress because you just get so much stress. So I think it's a great choice that they, instead of just denying that path, they modify it. Let's take a look at it. Shy characters can still receive stress via some of the scheme event options, however, and they will be less efficient at performing personal schemes. It will take them longer. However, they will be able to do it without ending up having a mental breakdown. This is great. This is absolutely outstanding. I'm a big fan of it. I think this is exactly how it should be. A general approach, I mean. You know, stress, of course, is the all unifying thing. It unifies your character with the world, because any world mechanic is also tied at the same time to your character's traits. Whether you can do it well, whether you can't do it well, is something that your character can come up with as they go and based on their traits. Now, unifying that even further and making it so that stress plays a hugely impactful role, but no longer just says, nope, you can't do that. I think that's a great option. I think that is exactly where we should be. We also added a few new interactions and decisions. For instance, forgiving characters can abandon one of their hooks to lose stress. You can either decide to be a truly forgiving character, abandoning a hook you obtained unwittingly, or you can actively look for hooks and then choose to be merciful. I think that's pretty cool. You are in a situation where you can simply say, okay, you know, I need to lose some stress. I'm also forgiving. Maybe I like the guy that I have the hook on. You know, if my wife is a witch, I might not use that hook. I might just say, I'll let it go, right? And that would make me lose stress. Of course, I hope that strong hooks give you a more stress loss than normal hooks, but weak hooks, but at the same time, either way, this is also a cool mechanic. Makes it so that you being your character is even more intensified. Again, I'm a big fan of stress being the grand unifier of everything going on. We've also added new options for diligent characters. They can dedicate themselves to improving the development of their capital, but doing so will generate a lot of stress. Finally, if impatient characters are stressed, they can speed up the progress of their current personal scheme without affecting their current stress levels. That's pretty cool. Yet again, you know, this is the develop capital event here. I dream that Rai will one day be the envy of every ruler under the sky. I must endeavor to be the champion who turns it into the jewel of the earth. All that is needed is for me to put in some work. Who needs to sleep anyway? As you can see, diligent, 80 stress, you know, that is, you need diligent and then you get 80 stress for it, but also diligent planning. I wonder what the modifier is. I hope it's a good one because it certainly feels like it should be a good one. Now, impatient characters speeding up personal schemes is also cool. They of course say, hey, I want to be your friend, but like, Can you hurry it up? You annoy me. I like that aspect of it. It definitely opens the gate. Instead of closing them via traits, it opens it up for you having more options depending on your traits. Some traits have also gained access to interactions that are not related to the stress system, but still improve upon the expression of their personality. For instance, arbitrary characters can now dismiss a hook a vassal holds on them by spending a lot of prestige and gaining tyranny. This is a cool one, so there is no stress involved here, but still your character is involved and your actual character traits are involved. This makes it so that you can simply say, hey, you know what, you know I'm a witch, screw it, I don't care. My name is, I don't even know, this is Prince Michael, I don't know what his name is, but it's pretty cool that you have this situation where you can say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and ignore you because I'm arbitrary. There's no justice here. Yeah, you might have helped me, might have done something, but I don't really care. I think this is a good option. The more we see of this, the better. It is also said we would love to hear your feedback and also suggestions for improving other traits. If you have any suggestions, make sure to head to the forums. We already have an interesting one here, in my opinion, trunting. I think improving traits is a great idea. Perhaps traits could be tied to interact with lifestyles. I think that could be cool. The more they interact with lifestyles, the richer, of course, the entire experience becomes, but we would have to see how that is implemented. I definitely simply think that this is a good idea. Whether they do it, I mean, we'll see. Now let's talk about AI and warfare. It's a difficult topic, right? AI and warfare is one of those things where, in my experience, from what I have played in CK3, which is a lot, in my experience, most of the time, your allies are very good about it. They hover around you, they siege with you the surrounding areas, but when they see an enemy, they pull together and then they follow you if you, go towards that enemy. Now, sometimes that doesn't work. And it's one of those things, right, where you never notice when it works, but you always notice when it doesn't work, because it gets very annoying to commit to a battle, but your allies are like, I would rather look at the hill over there. So the way I see it is, if they make that better, I think Meneth is the AI programmer. He could just be one of the AI programmers, I'm not sure, but I know that he does a lot of engine and AI work, if I remember that correctly, and I hope that there is some input there. Let's take a look at what is described here. Pathfinding has been revised, and AI armies should now take more optimal routes to reach their targets, whether they be close but surrounded by treacherous terrain, or far away across the sea, which was most visible during Crusades. There will be no more island hopping for Christian armies, and Vikings should also be more swift and direct in the raids. That all gets a huge thumbs up from me. The new pathfinding logic now factors in time, attrition, and threat when selecting and routing to destination. Good stuff. Getting close to the enemy is only the first step in warfare though, and the AI should behave more sensibly in other areas too. After winning crucial battles, AI armies should use their full might to more efficiently besiege enemy fortresses. You should see less mangonels and bombards chasing peasants while there is a perfectly good castle waiting to be ruined. We also adjusted the AI behaviors depending on the CBs, making sure that they not only prioritize territorial conquest but also capturing hostages when relevant. While there's likely to be some odd behaviors in the military AI still, we believe this will be a noticeable change in the right direction. I hope so too. I will encourage you though, once this patch comes out after PDXCon, I think it comes out, make sure to test it. If you see wonky behavior of the AI, make a save game, hand in a report, and tell the devs what happens there, because that is the only way, much like the open beta feedback forum, to make the game better. Now, with that being said, I'm excited for the roleplay changes that come with the traits, that comes with everything related to this, when it comes to involving mechanics and your character more with one another. And then the AI changes, of course, I hope that they work. Sometimes you can have a bug there, but I hope that there won't be any, and that we will instead have an even more competent AI. Now, lastly, an important organizational change. The version number of the patch will be 1.4 instead of 1.3.x as announced previously. This is to make the scope of the patch a bit clearer. While it still is a relatively small patch, it is also larger than a hotfix or a pure bug fix patch we've released in the past. I can't read today. Remarkable. Some mods will need to be updated, and while we always strive to keep save games compatible with the nature of the game, you might still run into edge cases with your old saves that we did not catch. Now, I will say, they have a lot to say about this patch, and that is positive, very positive. And it also means that the 1.4 label is probably deserved compared to a 1.3.x. It is, of course, not just a bug fix. I will say that, what matters more, what I want to explain for people that might not be aware of it if you're new to these games, make sure that once you are on the new patch, if you have save games of the old patch, go into the Documents, Paradox Interactive, Crusader Kings III, and then Save Games folder, back up all the saves that you want, that you still need, and then play the game. If there's too many bugs, bring the backups back in, and then roll the game back via the Steam decision window. With that being said, I can evidently no longer properly speak. I'm very excited for the changes. If you have any ideas for mechanics that could be related to traits and stress, please let me know in the comments. Please let them know in the forums here. Link as always in the description. And for the moment, however, I would like to thank the members of the channel that are making videos such as this one possible. Namely, of course, the amazing Barons Ounce and dose. Here we go. Please be on the lookout if you are one of the three. We're going to make many more multiplayer games happen, and I want as many of you in there as possible. So with that being said, later, alligator.